This is Russ. Yeah, I'm back out on the road again. What are we riding today? It's the Magicycle Deer 20, also known as the Deer Mini to many people. So what are we doing today? Well, I figured, what time is it right now? Let's see, 10:21. Figured I'd get out here a little earlier because the weather's half decent. I still have long pants on, still have my long sleeved jacket on. But I was thinking it's gonna warm up a little bit later. Let me adjust my mirror here a little bit so I can see what's behind me. It's gonna get a little bit warmer a little bit later, but I figured I'd come out earlier today. So I got to thinking, after watching a couple videos of some new bikes that have come out from various brands that many of you guys have said I should get. I'll leave the brand names unmentioned, but I'm sure you can figure it out. Yeah, some new announcements on some new bikes that have lots of power, big voltage, big power. Some have dual motors. Oh yeah, these things will go like 40 plus miles an hour. And one of them is really close by me. They're only a couple towns over from where I am. And so many of you have said, Russ, you need to get one of those things. I don't understand why these guys don't give you one. It doesn't always work that way. I'm waiting for that bus to go by because it's kind of noisy. Yeah, it doesn't always work that way. You know, even though we might think because you live nearby that they would instantly give you something, that always gets people thinking that it will happen. No, it doesn't happen that way. The thing is manufacturers, companies, that guy turned right even though I'm standing right here on the right side of the lane. Anyway, he had a red light too. Well, I guess he could go, just like this guy's gonna go too. It's a little risky, I think. You know, how does he know I'm not going to pull out forward and he doesn't run us over? Anyway, yeah, we're not going to get anything here. What's the deal with the light? Okay, well, anyways, we'll talk a little bit while we're waiting. Manufacturers will give you product to review because it'll benefit them, or at least they perceive it will benefit them. They don't think it's going to benefit them, they're not going to give it to you, right? Now, think about this, okay? Russ's Right channel does have quite a few viewers, there's no doubt. And many of you guys are e-bike enthusiasts as well. And so, why not give it to Russ, right? Let him try out these real powerful bikes. Think about the demographic as well, okay? Many of the Russ's Right viewers tend to be a little bit older, and Russ himself is kind of older. Yeah, I'm 65, right? And everyone knows I like to go fast, but I go fast within reason. So as you know, many of my bikes are set up to go 28 miles per hour, and many of them are still also just 20. So and it got me thinking a little bit about the various classes of bikes, 1, 2, and 3. We'll talk a little bit about that in a moment too. So even though you'll find that I will go fairly quickly on the street, you know, I think on average I probably do 22, 23 miles an hour on average. Right now I'm not, I'm doing about 19 miles an hour right now. But typically I will go rather quickly compared to some other people. And the only time I really hit the 28 miles per hour is if I'm competing with cars. Like I said, you know, if I'm if I'm riding on a road that's like 40 miles an hour, I don't really want to be doing 15. You know what I'm saying? I would rather go a little bit quicker, kind of keep up with traffic a little bit, and in my opinion, it's a little safer that way too. So at those times, I'll try to hit my 28 miles per hour to get myself moving. But other than that, for the most part, if you ever watch me riding, and those who've been watching for a while, will see that I'm usually around 23, 24 miles an hour, maybe something like that. And then on the paths, bike paths, you'll see me between 15 and 18 on average. So, so what if they gave me a bike that did 40 miles per hour? Would I be doing it? I think the answer would be no, I wouldn't. And I think they might know that. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I mean, as fast as I like to go to compete with cars, I don't think it's safe for me to do 40 miles an hour on a street. Now I know other people are okay with it, but yeah, maybe they're younger than me or something. But I kind of feel, I don't want to take that kind of risk. Because even at 28 miles per hour, your bike does kind of move a little differently. I mean, you kind of feel like, okay, one false move and down I go, I'm a goner. And you just kind of feel that, right? Imagine what 40 miles an hour would do if you're not wearing a lot of protective gear. All right, now, you all know that I wear my XWing helmet. I always do. And that's rated to 28, but it's not rated for further than 28. And I've had a number of friends who have told me, too, that they bought their XWing helmets, got in a small accident, bumped their heads, and XWing replaced those helmets for them. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Yeah, I know a number of people who've told me that, and that's their policy, If you can show that you had an accident and you've damaged the helmet and whatever, they will get you another helmet. That's their policy. So about fast bikes, I don't feel comfortable unless I'm all padded up. I mean, think about a motorcycle, that goes really fast. First off, they're licensed. At this point, we are not, right? And they usually wear, okay, I shouldn't say usually, they should be wearing, protective gear in the sense of things like leather jackets, heavier boots, gloves, motorcycle-style gloves, motorcycle-style helmets, okay? That's the only way that they can protect themselves that way. But, again, they're not regulated. I think here in Illinois, the only regulation you have as a motorcyclist is you've got to wear eye protection. I think that is reasonable because I've had things fly into my eye as I'm riding a bike. Imagine what would happen if you're riding a motorcycle in fast traffic and that happened to you. So they require some type of eye protection. But other than that, they don't require a helmet or anything. Other states will require it. So the thing with this fast stuff for e-bikes, all right, I just have to wonder what the non-e-bike people would say if they saw a bike going 40 miles an hour. What would they say? What would they do? I can just see more regulation coming on because of something like that. And we do have classes of bikes and the like. Thank you. We have classes of bikes and the like, and so we're not classified for anything above 28 miles per hour. I mean, we have class 1, 2, and 3, and we'll talk a little bit about that too. Especially class 3, I want to talk about that. So these new bikes that have, motors that are higher than 750 watts, and I recently just got a bike that's rated for 1,000 watts, okay, and then it peaks at like 1,500. It kind of skates the law, yeah. And so I keep wondering what is that going to do to e-bike laws when more and more bikes come out that are super high in wattage for the motors, super high in speed, and obviously they don't fall within any of the classes of 1, 2, or 3. So people have asked me to get one of these bikes, and I said, well, first off, as you know, I don't like going begging for bikes. If a company is interested in having me review one of their bikes, that's one thing, but I don't usually go out and ask for bikes. When I first started, I did ask 1 or 2 companies about it because I wanted to find out if they would send me something after the magicycle was sent to me. And I think that was the last time I ever did that. So the last time I ever did that, I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let people send it to me. And that's how it's always been. Nobody's ever sent me anything that I've ever asked for. So I said, actually, in the long run, that's actually better. If they need your help, they'll come finding you. And if they don't need your help, they won't, right? So I have a gut feeling that the company that's nearby probably knows of the Russ is Right channel. I can't see how they would not, since, I have over 1,000 e-bike videos, or over 1,000 videos. Not all e-bikes. Some of it is knee replacement oriented. Thank you so much. So, so I'm kind of all over the internet, especially if you're looking for e-bike related materials on the internet. You'll run into Russ is Right. There's no way you can't, I don't think. So. So why haven't they been calling? Well, I kind of see why they wouldn't, because first off, if you've watched my channel enough, you kind of notice that most of my stuff is geared towards an older crowd, and many of them kind of feel they don't even want to do 20 miles an hour. Okay, why would they be interested in a bike that can do over 40? I mean, think about that, really. So does that company have a benefit in giving me a bike? No. If anything, it'll cost them money. They won't get much out of it, right? So I don't see why they would be at all interested in giving me anything. So I think that's the reason. Yeah, I could be wrong, but Russ is never wrong. I told you guys that. And would I take it? Well, here's the thing. Even though I would not do it in the sense of 40 miles an hour, if they offered it to me, yeah, I would take it. I'd like to try it out. I mean, it doesn't mean I wouldn't try it out. Would I hit 40 miles an hour? I don't think so. That's the thing, I don't think even within my own review of that product, I would give it its maximum ability, which is what they're known for. So do they benefit in giving it to me? And the answer probably would be no. They wouldn't really benefit. Now others would say, why would you say something like that on a YouTube video? Because then you just basically you shot yourself in the foot. There's no way they're going to give it to you. Yeah, that's okay. I'm okay with that. I mean, I appreciate what they're able to do, but I don't think I would do what they probably would want me to do. And so I'm okay with that. Now, I have a friend who has one, and he's offered to me to take it to do the review, and I said, no, not really. I would only do it if they themselves offered it to me. But since that is not the case, I wouldn't be doing it. So, and besides, his is, I think, now considered an older model since the new versions have just come out. And so the review would be kind of outdated already, even if I took it and did it. I would need the most recent version to do. And let me pass this dog walker first. So yeah, so that's my answer to that. So here's my question to you guys. Would you be interested in a bike like that? I mean, I think there's always an interest, a curiosity interest. Okay, I mean, even if you're opposed to it, yeah, there's always a curiosity interest, right? So let's not call it that. Let me ask the question this way: would you buy one of these things? And if you did, would you unlock it to do the fastest speed it can go? I think that'd be a more accurate thing. Now, it doesn't have to be this particular brand, and you all pretty much know which brand I'm talking about without mentioning it. But there's others too. There's other bikes that will do that speed. Would you do it? Some of you guys would. I know you guys would. I know a couple of you guys would. But in general, I'm just curious. I want you guys to weigh in on this one. put a comment. Even if you don't normally comment, go ahead and comment on this one. It might be worth finding out what others are thinking. And then let me know if my decision of, you know, not really going after that bike company that's literally just miles away from me, if that was a smart idea or not. I personally, I don't feel like if I don't have it, it wouldn't bother me one way or the other. If they gave it to me, that would be fine. I would test it, right? But I probably wouldn't do the 40 miles per hour. So, all right, let's talk about classes of e-bikes and how that all plays into all this. And by the way, I'm heading towards the hill test. Now, hill test is not a ultimate speed test. It's a torque test, really. It's to find out how fast a bike can go over a hill with the throttle only. And the reason I'm doing it with this bike is because recently we had the U-Free Stellar Falcon become the king of the hill, 15.4 miles per hour over the hill. Well, this Magicycle Deer 20 was the king of the hill at 15.2 miles per hour over the hill. So I figured, hey, let's see if it can beat the 15.4 miles per hour. And one person even said, well, you know, if you've lost 30 pounds, wouldn't that mean that that Stellar Falcon could have gone faster simply because you weigh less? That's true. Let's see if it actually occurs. Because what separates the two is only 0.2 miles per hour. All right, so I just wanted to see, can this do the 15.2 still? And I recently just recharged this battery. Okay. All right, so let's do that first, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the classes and stuff. So we're gonna stop here. So I'm gonna look at the odometer. The odometer on these things sometimes take a while to get down to 0. Now it's showing 94% on the battery, because I mean, it takes me a while to ride here, so it eats some battery up. This has been unlocked to 28 miles per hour. Okay, we're gonna throttle only. Now this has a high torque too. I can't remember what the torque is on this thing. Is it 92 or something? It's pretty high. All right, so that's why. Plus it's a 20-inch tire compared to the 27.5-inch tire of the Stellar Falcon. Usually when your tires are big, they don't have quite the same amount of torque as a small 20-inch tire. So let's see what it does. All right, here we go. All right, throttle only. Try to keep it as straight as I can. 19, 21. Let me angle down a little bit here so you can see it. 22, 22.5. We could start dropping pretty soon. I'm just kind of keeping my eyes ahead, make sure I'm not slamming into something. 20, 19, 18, 18.5, 17.5, 16.2, 16.2. Pass through everybody here. 16.2. Stellar Falcon is not the king of the hill. It is still the Deer 20. In fact, it actually did better this time. 16.2. All right, well, Stellar Falcon, you have been kicked off the king of the hill. Interesting, huh? Yeah. All right, so what is my current weight? As of today, I'm back to the 238 pounds, which is still 30 pounds lost. I am carrying a bottle of water on this bike in the front basket. I don't know what that weighs. Let's give it a pound, something like that. So, yeah, Stellar Falcon did well based on old data, but new data, no. The Deer 20 is still king of the hill, 16.2 miles per hour versus 15.4. Sorry, U-Free. That is what happens at times, right? All right, so he is correct. The loss of 30 pounds has made a difference in the speed of this bike going over the hill. Well, that's good. I mean, it's good for Magicycle. I'm sure U-Free's not that happy, but let's look at it this way. U-Free is still king of the hill for its style of bike. 27.5-inch tire. That's pretty good. I mean, anyone could look at that and say that's pretty good. And I think its torque rating is what is it? At 84, 85? I don't know. I have to look it up. Put a graphic up for you guys. I don't remember these things. Come on, there's too many bikes. Can't remember all the stuff. But I do remember this one is quite torquey. Yeah, I think it's over 90. So this is a cadence sensor bike. The other one is a torque sensor bike. But it doesn't make a difference because we're throttling only. I also noted too that as we were going towards the hill, this one's a lot faster going towards the hill than the other one. The other one, even though I unlocked it to 28, really kind of hovered in around the 20 mile per hour ranges anyways as it's going up the hill. So it didn't have the ability to kind of, do a quick pickup and high rate of speed to go up to give it a little extra momentum. So, well, either way, this thing retains the king of the hill status. All right, let's go back and talk a little bit about, muddy. I don't like going over it with my wheels, as you know, because I got to bring this into the house. It'll dry off by the time I get there, though. All right, so we're gonna have to turn here. They've kind of blocked off some of the sidewalk here. I'll talk after we cross. After we cross, we'll talk. Because getting through this thing sometimes, could take a while. All right, I'm back. So let's talk about the classes of bikes. As you know, there's a Class 1, Class 2, Class 3. Many of you guys have heard me talk about it before, but yeah, there's some different wording that I'm finding that people are saying. Now, Class 1, of course, is a bike that has no throttle. It has a motor. Their motor will assist you. I have to duck a little bit there. The motor will assist you up to 20 miles per hour. After that, the bike can go faster, but the motor is not going to help you beyond 20 miles per hour. Okay? No throttle. Pedal only. Class 2, you have a motor that will help you up to 20 miles per hour when you pedal, but it also has a throttle that will go to 20 miles per hour. And these bikes, of course, have a limitation of 750 watt motors. Okay. Then there's Class 3. Now this is where the ones I find some change in how people are talking about the Class 3 nowadays. Class 3 is a bike that can go to 28 miles per hour with a motor when you're pedaling, but it has no throttle. Now that's not the wording I heard for the last couple years until recently, where they were saying that you could have a throttle, but the throttle will only help you to 20, and then if you pedal, it could go to 28. I've been saying too, like the electric bike company bike, I said, well, that's a pure Class 3 bike, because that's exactly what that does, right? I think one or two of my other bikes might be the same way too. So the Engwe, the recent one, the Engine Pro 2.0, same thing. It'll throttle only to 20, but it will pedal up to 28, okay? But based on the wording I'm seeing from a lot of people who talk about Class 3 now, they're saying Class 3 has no throttle. So technically, those bikes are also in violation now. That's not how they stated it years ago. Years ago, they stated it that it could have a throttle, but a throttle only to 20. So what? Now, because Class 3 is being stated that there is no throttle on there, so are all those bikes now in violation too? You see what I'm saying? They were fine until people started changing the wording of it. But that's not how the wording was years ago when I started in e-biking. So now, as you know too, there are bikes that does 28 miles per hour pedal, but also 28 miles per hour throttle. This being one of them if you unlock the bike. We'll talk about unlocking bikes and how that is playing into all this as well. Let's get past here first. This is always a tough tough road to pass. People get killed out here. They really need something for this intersection. I've been saying it for years. All right, we're gonna pass through. So what if you unlock the bikes? What does that mean? Well, when you go into the menu of your display screen, many of the bikes will allow you to go faster than the set Class 2 setting. And a lot of these bikes now are coming in as Class 2 bikes, right? And I think they're doing it because they're kind of fearful of what might happen if they don't. Although some companies don't seem to mind. Even the one bike, I don't know about the other, but the one brand we were talking about comes in as a Class 2 bike. Yeah. Now, if you unlock it, that's on you, all right? But these companies do give you full ability to unlock it to go faster. And their motors are definitely way past 750 watts. So even if they call it a Class 2, they are still technically not within the classification, because the classification basically says 750 watt motors. These things are not 750 watt motors. They're way, way, way past 750 watts, okay? And let's talk about motors too. Some motors will do 750 watts. Oh, okay, we have a downed tree here. Well, kind of a mess, huh? Well, trees fall in the forest, I guess, right? Oh, there's a couple of trees that fell. Gee whiz. All right, well, I guess we're going this way. Yeah, a little muddy. Thank you. I was not expecting a downed tree. All right, I'm going to go to the left. Thank you. Have a good day. All right, so anyway, that kind of took us to the side. Yeah, I was not expecting a tree to be down like that. That's not the first time I've seen that before. Today, I've seen that before. I've basically in the same area seen another tree that come down. But storms were pretty big yesterday, raining really hard. So if your motor peaks out higher, is that in violation? Because many of our motors today may come in at 750, but they have a peak power of 1,000, 1,100, 1,200, 1,300, which means temporarily it can go higher, but its nominal rating is 750. What do you mean by nominal? Meaning that's just the name of it. It's 750 watts. So if you come in as a Class 2 bike, 750 watts, and doesn't go over 750 watts, I guess then you could say you're a true Class 2 bike, right? Or if you're a Class 3 bike, you pedal with the help of a 750 watt motor that'll bring you to 28 miles per hour while you're pedaling, and it doesn't have a throttle, then you're within regulation. So my whole point is this. Most of our bikes seem to be not within regulation. That's what it seems like to me. Not all, but a lot of them are not within regulation because their motors can peak higher, their speeds can be unlocked. Now, if you don't unlock it, I guess it's perfectly fine, right? But think about this with the bikes we've been talking about that have been unnamed, okay? If your bike has the ability to do 40 miles per hour if you unlock it, would you not unlock it? Think about that. Would you not unlock it? I think I would unlock it. Regulation or not, I would unlock it. Now, whether I would do it is another story. I would probably bring it to 28. I like the idea of a fast pickup speed. You know, my friend who has one, we were just discussing that via instant messaging. And he said, you know, if he had one of those things, he can appreciate how fast it can go, but he wouldn't be riding it that way all the time. He said he would use it, you know, maybe to compete with cars. Okay, so if he's on a thing where it's competing with cars on the road, he might do it. But what he really likes is the fact he has fast pickup. You know, if something came after him, he has a fast pickup. He can literally get out of that situation quickly. I appreciate that too. Okay. Fast reacting bike would be good. Like this one's pretty fast reacting. You twist that throttle, that thing will go on you. Other bikes I have too, you can adjust those things so that it can go quickly or it can have a slight delay, you know, whatever. So yeah, I think these bikes may skirt the law a little bit, but I think a lot of people, even though they don't like the idea that it does that, they probably would do it. Thank you. They probably would do it simply because it has the ability. They want to try it maybe one time, you know, or they want to have that fast pickup, you know, even though on a constant basis that maybe they won't be going past 28 miles per hour, right? So let's talk about that 28 miles per hour. We're going all over this whole concept here. Where can you ride these Class 3 bikes? Now, if you read some of the regulations, they tell you that you know, they don't want you riding it in the street. They want you to ride it, and they don't want you to ride it on bike paths or trails. Where are you supposed to be able to ride this thing? Private property? Where are you supposed to actually be able to ride that? Now for me, I ride it basically on the street nice and quick. Over here, technically, since this has been unlocked, it's one of those that kind of, how you doing? Kind of changes the whole thing about, you know, it's 28 miles per hour, throttled and pedaled. I'm technically not even supposed to be on this path if you think about it, because a lot of the regulations will say that only Class 2 bikes or Class 1 bikes are allowed on the bike paths. And this is where a lot of these guys who have made comments have said, well, you're illegal on here. Yeah, but you know what? If I'm only going 15 miles an hour, right now I'm doing 15.6 miles per hour or so. If I'm only going 15 miles an hour, what real difference does it make if I'm riding a Class 3, Class 2, or a Class 1 bike? 15 miles is 15 miles per hour, right? So really, it's kind of hard to stop everybody from using the paths, right? So what about the law? Would they be regulating us on these paths? I don't know. Maybe down the road they might. Right now they don't. There's only been one time where I've actually seen a police officer on the bike path, and he was riding his electric motorcycle. Yeah, he's the guy. He was the cop that I talked to. I asked him if he would ticket me. Remember that? I said, if I don't stop fully, would you ticket me? Remember that? And his answer was no. If I saw that you had intent to look around, you slowed down, you didn't see anybody around, and you kept going, I wouldn't do it. Now, he did say that's him, not all cops. All right. Because he's a motorcycle cop, so he kind of understands. And I've run into him before, too. Just recently, in fact, we were talking about last year's encounter. But he also knows I'm a former law enforcement guy, too. I was never a cop, but I was an evidence technician, as you know. So, so we kind of joked around a little bit because, you know, former law enforcement guy with current law enforcement guys, you know, we still kind of have each other's back in that sense. But anyway, he said that, you know, regardless, he says, if he saw me and didn't know that I was former law enforcement, he says, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't ticket you. He says, I'm looking for intent. So All right, so there you have it. That's pretty much all the things I wanted to mention about this whole concept of Russ. Why aren't you getting the more powerful bike? Whether I really would want one or not. Whether I would refuse one. No, I would take it. You give it to me, I'll try it. I just probably wouldn't try it at 40 miles per hour. I'd be a little nervous about it. Anyway, put in the comments. This is a good one to comment on, I think. Let's get your opinion on all this stuff, because this is all fairly recent with the new series of bikes that have come out recently that, you know, can really go really fast. And let us know in your area, you know, what are the regulations in your area? How do you deal with it? If you have a Class 3 bike, or let's just say if you have a bike that does 28 miles per hour, I don't even think we could really even say Class 3 bike anymore, because there's more bikes that do like my bike here does than true Class 3. You know, do you have a throttle? Do you use a throttle? Does your throttle go to 28? Do you do it? Do you not do it? If you ride on the bike paths, do you maintain the speed? What is your speed on your bike paths? All that kind of stuff. Put some comments this time. My whole point on this video was I want to get the opinions of people. I want to see what people are really doing and what they think about this whole concept. And if you really like the 40 mile per hour bikes, put a comment about that too. I'm not saying, you know, not stopping anyone from doing it. I'm just saying that for me, it really isn't really for me. I don't see myself doing it. I mean, I'm fast, but I'm not crazy fast like that, like 40 miles per hour. I think that's a little too much for me. Anyway, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Put some comments. I'll talk to you guys next time.